Hello everybody, welcome again to Amazing Growth. My name is Antoinette Hunter. I am a teacher and a developmental intervention specialist, meaning I work with kids. If this is your first time tuning into my channel, you're very welcome. I work with kids from all walks of life. I work with kids that are developing normally or regularly. I work with children with disability and developmental delays. I also do preschool learning circle time on this channel. And I did not forget about my parents out there. I am also giving techniques and strategies on working with children with disabilities and developmental delays. So please continue to tune into my channel for more techniques and strategies. On today's video, I am going to continue from the last topic, the do's and don'ts when working with children with disability. On the last video, we talked about the things to do when working with children with autism. On this video, I'm going to talk about part 2, what not to do with an autistic child, or what not to do when working with children with disabilities. So are you ready? Just as there are plenty of steps to support a child with autism, there are also many ways to cause harm. Remember, I said it on the last video, but there are few simple steps to ensure that you are considering a helper. Follow a few steps to ensure that you are considered a helper, not a destroyer, because we don't want you to destroy or cause problems, okay? Don't approach parents with pity. Children with autism bring their parents joy, and there are plenty of things to be proud of and be grateful of. Approaching parents with pity undermines all that, and some parents take offense to those statements. So you can't just go around the parents and make it seem like, okay, oh, I am so sorry, or or say something, just if you don't know what to say, don't say anything. Okay? Approaching parents with pity undermines all that, and some parents take offense to those statements. Okay? Meaning when you approach them with pity or saying things that might not be very comfortable or uncomfortable for them, they might not, some parents will not take it very well. So you need to be careful. If you don't have anything good to do or to say, please don't say anything at all. Just support them. Now, let me tell you something. Children with autism often listen closely to what adults say. Activists explain that hearing an exchange of pity can make a child feel bad. They can feel wrong, and they can also feel worthless. So the fact that they're not talking or not communicating or being nonverbal doesn't mean that they don't have feelings. You need to respect them, okay? Your comments could cause more problems and work for already overwhelmed parents. So just be careful how you use your words and what you say to people in general. Don't bark instructions. Children with autism need more time to process complex verbal comments, okay? Younger children often struggle to understand instructions, and that makes them seem uncomfortable or uncooperative. So you want to be very careful on how you give a young child instructions. Do one thing at a time. You cannot give them so many instructions at the same time. You could cause a problem for a child if you offer too many instructions at the same time. For example, pick this up, but don't use the handle. Grab it from below. Or get your book bag. Get your book bag and put it on the table, so when I come in I can put your juice inside. Right there, the child is lost. Or using sentences like take this cup and plate into the kitchen, which is around the corner, and then pick up the milk from the refrigerator and bring it on the table. Don't forget to pour the milk in the cup. That's too much information. You want to make sure that you're giving a non-specific feedback. Watch what you're doing, okay? It's important so you don't cause any kind of destruction or damage to that child, or get the child confused and shut them down. So if you want to give them an instruction, especially for a child under 3 years old, a child that's nonverbal, you want to use modeling technique. Model what you want them to do. Do one skill at a time. Give them time to perform it. If they are not able to do it, use a hand over hand technique to get them to do what you want them to do. You can use pictures. You can practice the skills first before giving them instructions, so that way you don't complicate their understanding or their learning abilities. Keep your sentences short, meaning clear. Break down the complex. If the child or the children don't understand, break down the complexity even further. Like I was saying, one task at a time. Don't do everything together. When it's cleanup time, make sure you do the cleanup with them. If they don't understand the concept of cleanup, use songs if the child is okay and comfortable with song. Clean up. You pick the object, put it in the bag, put in, bye-bye cow, clean up, clean up. Everybody, everywhere, clean up, clean up. Everybody do your share. Songs, for kids who like songs, would help stimulate them. They're happy, they're confident, they are not worried on what to do or confused. So you're building their confidence at the same time. Don't take things personal. When you're working with children with autism, you don't want to take anything personal. It can be difficult. Trust me, I work with children with autism every day. I have an inclusive classroom also. So I do have children that are developing normally and kids that have disabilities. And also I work in the field with developmental delayed children, children with disabilities, and also with families. So I understand the frustration. I've heard so many different stories, and my job is to make sure I give them techniques and strategies to help them cope with the challenges that they're facing. So children with autism may not respond in many ways, or they may not respond in a manner you understand or expect. They may even walk away from you. You can be talking, trying to give them instruction, and they may not even be interested. Even when you're trying to do the hand over hand with them and actually guide them into instructions, they might not even be interested. They may also ignore you or have meltdown. And you're thinking to yourself like, why you having meltdown? I didn't do anything. All I'm trying to do is to help you. And here you are having, carrying on and having meltdown. It's okay. Don't take it personal. It's easy to have your feelings hurt, but do your best to keep your emotions in check. I'm telling you, they'll take you there. The child may be working hard to adjust to your expectations and your reality, and you might not even know because they're also struggling. Okay? Be as flexible as you can and keep trying to format things to fit their needs. Okay? You want to be flexible. It's not about this is what I want. Let's do it this way. Relax. Not that serious. We just want the child to learn. It's not all about what we want and how we want it. It's about educating that child in an environment where they feel safe, they feel comfortable, and they are not overwhelmed with the information that you're giving them. Because it hurts when I go out there to work with a child and the child is just crying and crying and crying. You don't get any results from that. Even as a caregiver, you will not get results from a child that is crying because you're giving them the instructions that they don't want to probably take, or they're not into it at that time. Let it go. Build a relationship with that child first, and then understand each other so that way things can really work smoothly between you, the child, and the family. Because if that child is not happy, you are going to have an angry mom, and the family is not going to be happy, and then you will not attain any result. It's not worth it. That is just my opinion. You don't want to have an angry mom or angry dad. You don't want to do things the way you want to do it. You want to do things the way the child wants to do it. I know that sometimes there are times when you want to accomplish a task and you want it to be done a certain way. I get it. Believe me. I also have a curriculum and a schedule to follow when I'm working with these children. I also have a task that I have in mind, and I've put everything that I want to accomplish. But I always say the first thing is to build relationship with that child and learn the child, learn the condition, know when to approach them to do certain things and when not to approach them to do certain tasks. I'm able to meet most of my goals, okay, just because I try to walk around the child. Just because the child is not talking doesn't give anyone the room to make assumption or assumptions. Don't assume that a nonverbal child can't communicate. And many children with autism don't speak at all. But never assume that they don't have something to say, because they communicate in different ways. For children with autism, behavior is a form of communication. They communicate in different ways, such as blinking. They can be blinking their eyes to respond to something or to give you a sign on what you're asking them to do. Pointing is another way that they communicate. Steaming, smiling, frowning, hugging, hitting, walking away. They have attitude, okay? They will communicate with you. For example, when you go to a child, when you're working with a child and you have two objects, you can have a preferred and a non-preferred activity to do with that child. The child knows exactly what they want. They might not be able to point to what they want, but they'll reach out to what they want. Okay? They might not be able to reach out to what they want, but when you use a hand over hand technique with them, they can either withdraw from it or actually gravitate towards it. So they do communicate in different ways. Sometimes when I ask the child to do more, or when I gesture more and encourage them to do it, do you want more? And they go like this. That's their way, or their own form of communication. They are clapping their hands, meaning they want more. Some of them do this. They want more. Don't withhold what they want because they didn't communicate more like this, they did it like this. Give them credit for their effort. Okay? Great. And sometimes their yes can also be like this. Okay? Clapping. So learn your child form of communication, or learn, if you're a caregiver, learn the children form of communication. Listen to what the child is trying to say. Ignore it, and the behavior may escalate until the child gets what they want to get. So if you ignore that behavior or ignore what they're trying to get, you're going to have a problem. Understand them. Talk to them. Teach them to use gestures. Model your technique with speech. Pair it with gestures to help them to communicate and minimize frustration. Another thing you don't want to do is do not insist on eye contact. I know that eye contact is important, but you don't want to make that a must. Some adults will look one another in their eye when they speak. Children with autism, this is a difficult task. Some children learn to look near your eyes, at your forehead, for example, through practice. Some never pick up these skills. Okay? So if you want me to do a video on how to get your child to communicate or use eye contact, put it in the comment section below, and I am going to make a video on that. Or you can email me at amazinggrowth24@gmail.com. Never force a child to look into your eyes. Don't do that. Don't bow down to try to meet the child's eyes. And don't point to your own eyes to make the child follow along. Because I've seen some people actually doing that. I don't say anything and I just walk away because I don't want to make it seem like I'm trying to, But don't do that. There's a way on having that child to engage with you and using eye contact. You want to use, sometimes I use beats, objects, flashing them when I'm having one-on-one session with them. In the classroom, I get down to the child level and I communicate with the child. Sometimes I tap my nose, asking Richard. I'm just making up a name here. Okay? I use my hand, place the object close to my mouth so they can see. Those are the ways that I try to, just a few techniques to engage them with eye contact. That's not what we're talking about. We're just saying that respect them and don't overwhelm them because you're trying to get them to see what you're doing. Accept the child's behavior. I'm not saying that to accept any behavior, but you want to make sure you accept the child's behavior to the best of your ability, especially if they're not doing anything wrong. Don't use creative language. Children with autism take things literally. If you sprinkle your conversation with irony, sarcasm, exaggerations, or idioms, you are bound to confuse that child. And remember, some of them that are verbal, they will repeat what you're saying. So be careful. For example, don't tell a child to keep an eye on something. Don't do that. The child may reach for it and put the items near his face or his or her face. It's okay. Be as literal and direct as you can so the child knows exactly what you're talking about. For a child that is struggling I can pick up an object with just two kinds of block inside the container. A square, which is a cube, and a circle, like a ball. Two. I might have 5 of each. I'll put them in the hole. Ball, ball, ball. Yay! That same ball, I can use it to bounce, catch, put it in, bounce, catch, put in, bounce, catch, put in. Repetition. I'm repeating my words over and over again, and I'm using short phrases. I'm not overwhelming the child with too many words and too many objects at the same time, especially when I'm trying to build language. If your mouth sleeps, or if your mouth sleeps and you say something unusual, do not laugh. You want to correct yourself and rephrase your words immediately. You don't want that child to be repeating the wrong things or saying the wrong things. Because if they talk, they'll repeat that, especially if they like what they heard or if they think it was funny. They'll keep saying it. So be careful what you say around children with autism or kids in general. Just be careful. Well, this was the part 2 on what not to do when interacting with children with autism. Always remember to say your prayers. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this helps. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I love you guys. Take care.